Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kimbo's Comfort Kitchen, and today we are going to do a stuffed chicken breast. I recently saw a really great post on Facebook with an example of one, and it reminded me of some old recipes that I had, which are very similar. So this is the variation that I saw that we're going to do that's different, and I'll take you through it step by step. It's super easy and really delish, and I'm going to accompany it with some of the side dishes at the end as well. So I hope you enjoy it, and as usual, if you've got any comments, or more importantly, if you haven't shared my other ones, please share my recipes. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscriptions on YouTube. Every bit helps, and if you like it, please share, please subscribe. Ciao, let's get going. Alright, so let's get started with just the ingredients here. Now, we can get all of the measurements and the ingredients on my website, so don't worry about how much right now. This is set up for 4 chicken breasts. I'm only going to show you one for obvious reasons, but this will give you an idea of what we got. So I've got some, this is already fresh chopped basil. It's not pesto. I could buy this in the tube. It lasts a long time, and it saves me from going out and buying a bunch of basil and chopping it all the time and not using half of it. So if you can find it in your store, that's a great way. If not, then just chop up the basil. Smoked paprika, salt and pepper. I use kosher salt. Italian seasoning. I've got garlic powder. I've got some onion powder, and I've got some sun-dried tomatoes. And the original recipe I saw said mozzarella, but I really like raclette. You can use mozzarella. You can use all sorts of cheeses, anything that melts well. But that's what I'm using today. And of course, the star of the show, I've got these 4 huge chicken breasts, as you can see by the size of my hand, which I'm going to show you how to prepare those before we get going. And I've got some asparagus, which I have quickly pan fried. I didn't feel like setting up the barbecue, and I didn't cook these through. They're just pan fried in olive oil in avocado oil, which I get from Costco. It's inexpensive there, and it's good quality, neutral flavor. And what happens when you do it on a grill or in a frying pan is the asparagus then take on a bit of a nutty quality to it. You don't have to do this. You could just simply put them in, trim them and put them in, it'll be fine. But I prefer that little extra nuttiness to it. It kind of matches my personality. And lemon and toothpicks. And away we go. Let's prep the chicken breast now. Okay, so here's the first chicken breast. I said I'm doing multiple ones today, but I'm just obviously for our purposes just going to show you one. This is a nice big thick one. But first I'm going to start with, oh, by the way, I'm using a very sharp Japanese blade, and I'm just going to take that off so you can see what we're doing there. Part of a chicken tender. Whoops, there. And I'll use this later for something else, probably bread it and make snacks out of it. Next, we'll take this, and I'm going to slice right through the center. And it really helps if you've got a sharp blade here, because one mistake and you can't stuff it anymore. It will just be a complete mess, as the French would say. So I'm cutting it through to about here. I cut a bit thin on that side, but that's all right, it didn't break. So it's now basically butterflied. And hold on there, I just realized something else. Oops, the fact that you can't see it, that also helps. I'm really good at this, aren't I? Anyway, just let me get something ready and we'll come right back. Alright, so I forgot one minor detail. Now you don't have to do this either. You could actually just stuff this the way it is. But me being, you know, the old Viking tradition, we're going to take this and flatten it out. I would do a Danish accent, but it's really crappy. It's almost worse than my Swedish one. So I'm going to go with this one. And anybody wants to talk about cultural appropriation, I mean, you know, just write me a letter. or appropriation. So I flattened it out a little bit. A couple things with doing this is that it's going to cook a lot more evenly because it's more even. And we're on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to work on the guts, the insides, the nice part, the tasty part. Let's see what happens. So we're going to start with a schmear. I'm going to put a little bit of my basil on the inside. Now I don't want to put too much because I don't want it to be overpowering, but you know, as always, everything's a matter of taste. If you really like basil, which I do, but not so much as I want other flavors to get lost here, then that's what I'm going to do there. And then I'm going to take some sun-dried tomatoes, and I've got two different kinds here just because I happen to have bought one kind and I made another one. The dark ones are my homemade ones, and the lighter ones are store-bought, but I want to use it all up, so it all works out. Now the original recipe, as I mentioned before, calls for just tomatoes, but I like the concentration of the flavor in the sun-dried, and I'm going to put 2 of these pan-seared. You know what, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to pop them up the top like this when we close it, and then I'm going to take some of this beautiful raclette, lean that inside like that, which is, if you've ever had raclette, you know it melts beautifully. In fact, that's what the Swiss do. So that's not all that complicated, is it? He says with great confidence. So I'm going to take that like that, and because I've flattened it out a bit, I can now just seal it with a couple of toothpicks that are going to go right through there. Now, the original recipe there was only one, but I like to go a little overboard, and I'm going to do 2. So you can see how you just kind of thread that in. Isn't that beautiful? Well, anyway, it's going to work. So there's one more step before we go into the oven, and let's get to that in a sec. Okay, so I took all the dry ingredients that we saw before and mixed them all together. I'm going to put them on the plate, spin them around. I'm going to take some more avocado oil, and I'm going to drizzle that over the top of the chicken breast. Because I've got such a tiny kitchen, it makes it look really sloppy, but it'll work. And then I'm going to take that and just roll it like that. He says with great confidence. Stuff in the tomato that was trying to get away, and I'm going to do this 4 more times. Alright, so I've let this rest in the fridge for half an hour, and I've got the oven set at 350 convection, and I'm going to put that in for 20 minutes. Alright, so it's 20 minutes at 350. I've pulled it out, and I'm about to put it into this pan, which I've got on less than 3/4 heat, and I'm going to do 2 minutes aside. Alright, so let's plate. Take this. This was 2 minutes aside, and then I actually flipped it another 2 minutes to get it up to temp. And take that out. I really hate biting into toothpicks. And then next we're going to put on the salad. And here we have a sweet kale salad, baby kale, with cranberries and pine nuts and sesame seeds and a poppy dress, well, it's a poppy sour cream dressing. There we go. For the final part is new potatoes with persille sauce, which is parsley sauce, over top of the potatoes. And look at that. Is that not pretty? And we're going to finish this off, and this is important. You want some lemon juice on top of the chicken. It just brightens it up. I hope you enjoy this. After this, I'm going to cut into it and I'll share my thoughts with you if you want to stick around. But please subscribe. I hope you enjoy this recipe. Alright, so let's cut into this and see exactly what we've got. Well, another toothpick. But let's see what we got here. Okay, so there's a basic cross section. Really juicy. This is what I was looking for. This is why I do a reverse sear, by putting it in the oven first and then finishing it in the pan. Okay, you know what? That's absolutely perfect. It's tender, super juicy. All the components are there. I really hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.